got time today on blood.
I'm thankful for just being allowed to sit up in a box with the opposing, the owner of the opposing team allow the dad of the quarterback on the opposing team to sit in his box. Like, how many times did that happen? Like, that is unbelievable, man. So I'm so thankful and appreciative for that opportunity and that moment. That's the first time I've ever
The football
watched
team
him play.
world is spinning right now with rumors, side eyes, and straight-up conspiracy chatter, all thanks to Deion Primetime Sanders dropping some eyebrow-lifting comments after watching his son Shedeur Sanders make a historic NFL debut with the Cleveland Browns. What should have been a simple feel-good moment. A proud dad watching his son snap a 29-year Browns curse by becoming the first rookie QB since 1995 to win his debut has suddenly turned into something way more dramatic, mysterious, and downright wild. Because here's the twist that blew everything open. Deion didn't watch the game from a normal seat like any other parent. He didn't chill in a standard suite with family and friends. No. Prime spent the entire game sitting in the personal luxury box of Raiders owner Mark Davis, the same team Shedeur was facing that day. That alone had fans confused, but then Deion turned the volume all the way up when he went to a press conference and made sure to publicly thank Davis, stressing how rare and almost unheard of that kind of access is in pro sports. Before we get to the theories that are making NFL fans lose their minds, let's lock in the facts.
Without me on the sideline. I've never seen him play without me coaching him, so that was strange, but it was good and it was healthy. Because I was just in straight dad mode. I wasn't in coach mode, and I love that I was able to see him gain the first victory.
Were you a nervous wreck at all?
No.
Because you couldn't do anything about it?
No. Thank you, Lord. You know I was going with that. Thank you, Lord.
Shedeur Sanders made his regular season debut for the Browns against the Las Vegas Raiders, completing 11 of 20 passes for 209 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception in a clean 24-10 win. The rookie was efficient, calm, and in control, so much so that Cleveland's head coach Kevin Stefanski immediately named Shedeur the Week 13 starter against the 49 ERs, sending a clear message. The Browns might have finally found their quarterback moving forward. This should have been nothing but a heartwarming father-son moment. A rising young quarterback balling out, and a proud dad watching it all happen. But the second people realized where Deion sat, who he sat with, and how he talked about it afterward, this turned from a wholesome highlight into one of the most intriguing storylines of the entire season. During his press conference, Deion went out of his way to give Mark Davis a big public thank you for letting him watch the game from Davis's private suite. And he didn't just casually mention it. He really emphasized how unusual and generous the gesture was. He literally pointed out that being allowed to sit in the box of the opposing team's owner is basically unheard of. That wording matters because it quietly acknowledges something major. This was not normal. This wasn't standard protocol. This wasn't a routine family access situation. This was special treatment, a one-off exception, the kind of move that usually means something more is happening behind the scenes. And when a high-profile figure like Deion Sanders makes a point to publicly highlight something that odd, fans immediately start connecting dots and asking questions. What led to this arrangement? Why did Mark Davis personally host the father of the QB his team was trying to stop? What exactly did they talk about during those hours together? Because, let's be real, the optics of this whole situation are wild. Imagine being a Raiders player warming up for a game, getting mentally locked in, and knowing the father of the Browns' rookie quarterback is sitting upstairs in your owner's suite sharing snacks with your boss. How does that land with you? Do you start wondering what's going on up there? Does it make you question whether everything is fully on the level? Even if nothing inappropriate happened, the appearance of a conflict is already big enough to raise eyebrows all over the league. NFL teams usually move very carefully to avoid even the suggestion of divided loyalties. That's what makes this whole thing feel so strange. It's rare, it's bold, and it's the exact opposite of how teams usually operate. So naturally, the first theory that exploded online was simple and dramatic. Fans immediately started asking, was Mark Davis using this game to talk with Deion about bringing Shedeur Sanders to the Raiders? And honestly, you can see why people think that. The setup couldn't be more perfect for private conversations. A luxury box gives them total privacy. Nobody else can hear a thing. They have hours together with zero interruptions, and they have a perfectly reasonable excuse to be in the same room. They're just watching a football game.
But other than that, man, he looked incredible out there. To have, an 87 quarterback rating, only missed 9 passes, 209 yards, over 10 yards of completion, and that touchdown. And what's so crazy about it, on the internet, people were complaining and talking down about Shedeur Sanders throwing his first touchdown pass because it was a quick dump off to the running back, and he was able to go the rest of the yards to score a touchdown. But think about it.
It would be the ideal place to talk about everything. A potential trade, future roster plans, contract possibilities, how Shedeur might fit into the Raiders' offense, and whether he could become the centerpiece of a team that desperately needs a franchise quarterback. A private luxury box is the perfect place to talk big-picture strategy, organizational vision, long-term roster plans, and every detail that goes into a potential blockbuster trade, all while keeping everything low-key because technically, you're just two football figures watching a game together. And that's where the Raiders' situation makes this even juicier because Las Vegas has been starving for a true franchise quarterback for years. They've shuffled through different starters one after another, none sticking long enough to build stability. The organization clearly knows they're in a rebuild mode, trying to find their identity in one of the toughest divisions in football, the AFC West. And suddenly, here comes Shedeur Sanders, a young quarterback with real upside. A superstar last name and the type of charisma that would sell out stadiums and turn Vegas into a full-blown show every Sunday. From both a football and business standpoint, Shedeur Sanders in Vegas makes a wild amount of sense. He'd instantly become the most marketable player on the roster. Fans would eat it up, media coverage would explode, and if he continues playing well, he could be the long-term QB the Raiders have been chasing for over a decade. That alone makes the timing of Deion and Mark Davis being in that suite together feel way too perfect. And here's where the story gets even more chaotic. Recent reports out of Cleveland say the Browns front office is already considering drafting a quarterback in the first round of the 2026 draft, even after Shedeur's strong debut. If that report is real, and insiders are treating it like solid info, then the Browns are already planting seeds of doubt about Shedeur's future. And that's exactly how you push a young QB out the door. Why would Deion Sanders want his son to stay somewhere the front office already seems to be looking past him? Why would Shedeur want to spend his early career wondering if the team believes in him? No quarterback wants to fight off replacement energy every offseason. If Cleveland isn't ready to commit long-term to Shedeur Sanders, it makes total sense for Deion to start scouting better situations. Places where his son is valued, supported, and given stability. And Mark Davis? He's absolutely the type of owner who would make that kind of bold move. Davis has never been scared to go outside the box. He moved the Raiders from Oakland to Las Vegas, a huge, controversial relocation that completely reshaped the franchise. He's made big-name coaching hires, he's cut ties when things didn't work, and he's shown over and over again that he's willing to take risks if he believes it'll help the Raiders win. If Davis sees Shedeur Sanders as a decade-long franchise QB, a player who can lead the Raider Nation into the future, he would absolutely explore a trade rather than rolling the dice on another rookie prospect. And having direct access to Deion through that luxury box invitation? That sets up opportunities for honest, private conversations without needing agents or middlemen involved. Deion publicly thanking Mark Davis after the game is another interesting layer because it accomplishes multiple things at once. On the surface, it's just a polite thank you, a father showing respect for the hospitality. But underneath that, it puts their relationship out in the open for the world to see. It signals that there's already some kind of mutual respect between the Sanders family and the Raiders organization. And that public moment sends subtle messages everywhere. It lets Cleveland's front office know that Shedeur is respected around the league in ways they might not be showing him. It hints that the Sanders camp has options, real options, and that staying in Cleveland isn't the only future on the table. And it sparks public conversation tying Shedeur to the Raiders, which could help gain leverage, raise interest, or simply keep the Browns on their toes. Now, imagine Shedeur Sanders in Las Vegas. It fits the city's entire personality. Vegas is about stars, swagger, entertainment, and energy, and Shedeur brings all of that with him. He has the confidence, the family name, and the natural spotlight presence that thrives in a market built on showtime.
Perfect timing. And as you see right here, Shiloh reposted this. Shedeur Sanders, first Browns quarterback to win during their first career start. And you just imagine how many Browns quarterbacks throughout the years started games and couldn't get the dub. The first one in Browns history is crazy. You think of the Bernie Kosars, Baker Mayfields, man. We can go on and on with, some of the guys that did good in the league that was with the Browns that could not get that first win, man. And I'm not going to lie. Yes, it was a bad pass for the interception.
The Raiders already have a loyal fan base, but adding Shedeur would elevate everything. More ticket sales, more jersey sales, more national primetime games, more sponsors lining up instantly. From a business angle alone, Shedeur Sanders in Vegas is a marketing jackpot, but the football angle is just as interesting. The Raiders actually have weapons, real talent that could thrive with a reliable quarterback. They've got playmakers who just need someone to get them the ball. The defense isn't elite, but it has pieces that can cause problems and keep games close. The coaching staff is still figuring things out, but they're not lost. They just need that one foundational player to stabilize everything. If Las Vegas could lock in the quarterback position by bringing in Shedeur, the entire rebuild could accelerate instantly, instead of wasting seasons cycling through temporary veterans or taking risky swings on unproven college guys. They'd already have a young leader with upside, charisma, and NFL-ready poise. In the draft conversation, Shedeur Sanders has already shown in his debut that he can handle real NFL pressure and deliver throws that belong at this level. He's not some mystery prospect or a long-term project that needs years of development. He looks like someone who can start immediately and make an impact from day one. And that makes the trade situation extremely interesting, because the biggest question now becomes this: what would it actually cost to pry Shedeur out of Cleveland? The Browns only used a fifth-round pick on him, so it's not like they're tied to some massive investment that forces them to hold on to him no matter what. But after his debut, the hype surrounding him, and the historic moment he delivered, his value has skyrocketed way past what a normal fifth-round rookie would ever be worth. Cleveland wouldn't just hand him over. They'd probably demand at least a first-round pick and maybe more, because a quarterback who breaks a 29-year curse and shows legit franchise potential doesn't come cheap. The Raiders do have draft assets, and if they think Shedeur is miles ahead of any quarterback they could draft in 2025 or 2026, they might be willing to put together a serious offer. From their perspective, it makes sense. Why gamble on an unknown college prospect when you could trade for a player who's already shown he can hang in the league? Cleveland's side of the equation gets even messier when you add in the report that their front office is considering drafting another quarterback in 2026. If that report is true, then the Browns have already revealed their hand. They're not fully committed to Shedeur as their long-term guy. And if they truly feel that way, then trading him now while his stock is red hot might be viewed as a smart business move by their front office. They could flip him for high draft picks, use that capital to chase their preferred prospect in 2026, or rebuild multiple positions at once. It sounds cold, because it is. But NFL front offices make decisions like this all the time when they aren't fully sold on a player fitting their long-term blueprint. But for Shedeur, being traded this early in his journey would be a massive shift and a real challenge. Moving to a new team means a new playbook, new receivers to build chemistry with, new coaches to learn, and a whole different organizational culture to adjust to. It's a lot to take on for a rookie who's still getting used to the speed and complexity of the league. Still, if the alternative is staying in Cleveland, where the front office is already looking past him toward the next shiny quarterback prospect, then a fresh start might actually be the smarter long-term move. Cleveland has a long, painful history of instability at quarterback, and countless careers have been slowed or derailed because of it. If Las Vegas offers stability, belief, and a clear plan for Shedeur, that switch suddenly looks much less like a setback and more like a chance to thrive. And you can't talk about any of this without talking about Deion Sanders, because his influence is massive here. Deion has been heavily involved in guiding both of his sons throughout their football journeys, making sure they land in situations where they're respected, supported, and positioned to grow. He's not the type to sit back quietly while a front office sends signals that they're not committed to his son long term. If Cleveland really is considering drafting another quarterback, Deion is absolutely going to speak up, handle conversations, explore other team interests, and potentially push for a move if he feels it's necessary for Shedeur's career. That luxury box moment with Mark Davis might have been the first step in that process. A quiet conversation to see where the interest level is and what options might be available. Now imagine how Browns fans would react if Cleveland traded Shedeur after one game. The meltdown would be explosive. Fans just watched a rookie quarterback do something no one in their franchise has done in almost 3 decades. They finally saw hope at the position after years of painful quarterback cycles, disappointments, and false restarts. To trade him right after that? To move on because the front office is already dreaming about another quarterback? That would feel like another chapter in Cleveland's history of sabotaging itself with questionable decisions and mixed signals. The backlash wouldn't just be loud, it would be relentless. Fans would hammer the organization online, on local radio, and in the stadium stands. The league-wide impact of a potential Shedeur Sanders trade would be wild to watch because it would completely shift how teams handle young quarterbacks and how much power families can have in shaping a player's career path. If Deion Sanders actually manages to help steer his son from Cleveland to Las Vegas through quiet conversations, personal relationships, and strategic timing, it would show a new level of player influence that other prospects, and their parents, would absolutely pay attention to. Future draft picks might start trying to control their NFL destination the same way stars in the NBA have done for years, and that possibility alone is why conspiracy theories around this situation keep building, getting louder every time Deion and Mark Davis are in the same frame. Fans are dissecting every press conference comment, every handshake, every sideline shot, and every social media post like they're evidence in a case. People keep asking, was that luxury box invite just a friendly gesture between 2 football figures? Or was it a strategic move to host a private trade conversation with zero chance of anyone overhearing? And when Deion publicly thanked Mark Davis, was he just being polite? Or was he dropping hints that something bigger is in motion? The truth is probably somewhere in the middle, a blend of real hospitality and subtle business groundwork that could turn into something massive down the line. And the timeline makes things even more interesting because with the NFL trade deadline already passed, no move involving Shedeur can happen until the offseason at the earliest. That gives Cleveland months to see more of his play and decide if they want to move forward with him or still chase another quarterback in the 2026 draft. It also gives Deion and Mark Davis plenty of time to keep building their relationship and exploring possibilities without any pressure to rush. The fact that this can develop slowly actually makes that luxury box moment feel even more believable as the starting point, because both sides know any real decisions will happen later, not now. From a storyline perspective, this entire situation is a blockbuster waiting to happen. It has everything that pulls sports fans in: a legendary father looking out for his son's career, a franchise in Cleveland that always seems to find new ways to complicate its quarterback situations, a bold owner in Las Vegas who might be ready to make a move nobody saw coming, and the possibility of private negotiations happening publicly right in front of millions of viewers. This isn't just football anymore. It's family, legacy, business strategy, and franchise politics all swirling in the same storm. And the coaching situations in Cleveland versus Las Vegas only add more fuel to the conversation because both teams have coaching staffs still fighting to prove they can build consistent winning cultures. Neither one is perfect, neither one is fully stable, but the difference is the level of commitment. If the Raiders decide they want Shedeur as their quarterback for years to come and are ready to build an offense around his strengths, while the Browns are already thinking about drafting someone else, then the better long-term environment leans heavily toward Las Vegas. Coaching matters, play design matters, but the belief of the front office and ownership is just as important, especially for a young quarterback finding his footing. A quarterback needs to know the organization believes in him, that they're investing in him rather than scouting his replacement 2 years early. Around the league, we've already seen how modern quarterbacks can shape their own futures, and those examples give serious weight to what might happen with Shedeur Sanders. Deshaun Watson pushed his way out of Houston. Russell Wilson ended up leaving Seattle after years of tension. Aaron Rodgers made the move from Green Bay to New York when the relationship finally ran its course. In today's NFL, quarterbacks and their circles have more influence than ever when it comes to where they play and how their careers unfold. So if Shedeur and Deion ever come to the conclusion that Cleveland isn't the long-term home for him, and Las Vegas offers the better path forward, they absolutely have the leverage, relationships, and visibility to make that move happen, especially if Cleveland is already entertaining the idea of drafting another quarterback down the line, which sends a pretty clear message about how confident they are in their rookie. At the end of the day, what started as a simple feel-good moment, a father watching his son shine in his NFL debut, has blown up into something way more layered and potentially explosive. That luxury box meeting between Deion Sanders and Mark Davis, paired with the reports about Cleveland's 2026 draft plans, has created a perfect storm of theories, debates, and wild possibilities about Shedeur eventually landing in Las Vegas. Now, whether these rumors are rooted in truth or just passionate fans reading into every detail, we're going to find out over the next few months. As Shedeur continues through his rookie season and front offices across the league start preparing for the off-season chess match, we're going to see which parts of this story were signals and which were just noise. But one thing is absolutely locked in. This story is nowhere close to finished. The drama around Shedeur Sanders' NFL future is just heating up, and every week adds another twist, another clue, and another reason for fans to keep watching closely. So if you want to stay plugged into every update in this wild, developing situation, if you want to know whether that luxury box moment was just hospitality or the first step of a massive NFL power move, if you want to track whether Shedeur ends up staying in Cleveland or eventually touches down in Las Vegas, then make sure you're locked in and subscribed so you don't miss a single update. Jump into the comments and tell us whether you think Mark Davis and Deion were actually talking trade business or if fans are just connecting dots that aren't really there. And hit that like button if you're all about the behind-the-scenes NFL drama, the power moves, and the political chess game that happens away from the field. This situation is unfolding fast, and you're going to want to follow every twist, turn, and surprise as this season rolls into the offseason and the real decisions start happening.